On that fateful day, we received a call from one of the victims at around 25 minutes past 12 midnight. And quickly, our rescue team was dispatched to the scene. So when they got to the scene, they assessed the situation and they realized that no, in order to be able to effectively rescue those people alive and in time, they needed an assistant. They needed more hands on deck. Because imagine about 60-seater capacity buses which are fully loaded. So we're talking about almost 100 people at a go. Yes, getting to 120. So we needed assistance. So they called for the second team, who were also dispatched to the scene. So when they got there, in fact, it wasn't an easy task because it was a serious head-on. And most of the people who were in the front seats, at least I can tell you, the first 10 seats were all condemned.
In both vehicles,
Yes, the
in the
first
white vehicle as well.
the white vehicle, especially the white vehicle, because the white vehicle was directly on head-on. So we had to quickly those who survived, who were injured and dead, and they were who were injured and they were still suffering in the bus. They were quickly rescued and taken out. So the rest of the victims who were in the vehicle, that is those who couldn't make it, we had to now use our equipment and do serious rescue with them. And dealing with that particular rescue at that particular time, we spent about 8 hours. We spent about 8 hours trying to remove the rest of the bodies from the vehicle. So we had to cut through most of the vehicles, and some of the buses were made with fiber.
Especially the red
Yes, especially the red one. So it wasn't easy cutting, but we did our possible best, and our men were so exhausted, and coupled with seeing the horror of the scene, they gallantly did their possible best to bring those people out of the vehicle.
You tell me that this rescue tender is the only one in this country.
Yes, I can tell you, I've not seen this anywhere in this country before.
This was donated by Hauda.
Yes, it was donated by Hauda. It's a sister city relationship. Commander had KEA had with Gauda, and when they came, we also tried to build a relationship with the fire service in Gauda. So through that relationship, they came and donated this particular vehicle to Ghana National Fire Service. And in fact, I can tell you with the presence of this particular vehicle, a number of lives, I can tell you thousands of lives have been saved on this particular stretch of the Accra Takrady Highway. A lot of people have been saved with this. And also, this is not only used for road traffic extrication. There are other incidents that we have used it. For example, there are rescue incidents where we went to rescue people from a well. Somebody who fell in a well, we went and did that. I can remember last year we went to Anomabu, somebody got drowned. So we had to send about two of our swimmers inside, and they were able to bring the body out. So it's not only road accidents that fire service deal with. Any form of rescue, when you are in distress, Ghana National Fire Service have the capable men. And I can assure you, fire service is the only institution that has the well-trained men to execute rescue in this particular country. And if you are talking of rescue in Ghana, you can't forget of Central Region because we have the best trained men. We have men who represented the country in World Rescue Challenge in London in 2012, right?
Told that Ghana, you represented Ghana, and Ghana and South Africa, I mean, were the representatives of Africa.
Exactly. Ghana and South Africa were the only representatives in Africa. And we had an appreciable position because I learned we were 22nd among those who went to compete. So imagine with competing with these kind of people. So what Ghana National Fire Service needs now is that we need more attention, we need more equipment. We want to build the rescue aspect of it so that next time when there is an incident, we don't need to go to Israel to bring people to come and do the rescue. You can tell Ghana that we have the men who can do the rescue in Ghana here.
So, essentially, what the fire service is communicating is that they've been doing a yeoman's job on the stretch in the central region and up to the point that they had to represent Ghana because they have the technical know-how, have the wherewithal, they have the resources, and this is the only one in this country. Had it not been this one, a lot of lives would have been lost in the central region, be it fire, be it drowning, be it road crashes. And thus, we are told that the incident, the accident that happened, that 34 people perished and about over 50 people got injured, various degrees of injuries. They had to go cut open some of the parts of the vehicle, retreat, and some of the bodies were actually mutilated when.
Exactly. Some they were mutilated beyond recognition. Some of them, if not their items or their dresses that they could be identified with, it was very, very difficult to be able to tell who is this person.
So tell us, I mean, what kind of personal effects did you see in your rescue operation? Did you find in the beyond the human beings, their parts and the others? I mean, what kind of personal effect did you come into contact with when during the rescue?
In fire service, as part of our cardinal principles, we have something called sympathy. So when you're executing your work, there's some level of sympathy in you. So the sympathy you see, the situation those people have found themselves. You look at where they are coming from, look at their families, look at all these things. So that alone gives you the courage, that alone gives you the motivation to be able to save more lives. And this is something that drives us. So you get your sympathy, and that drives your gallant and brings out the tactfulness and some of the good
I
of
understand some of your men threw up. The new entrant in the
Exactly,
game.
exactly. There were some who were seeing it for the first time since they were recruited into the service. They hadn't met such a horror scene before. So when they saw it,
Only be seeing them in movies
yes,
and on TV.
exactly. So that was the first time of having coming close to such an horror scene.
Give us the statistics. 2008, how many rescue efforts did you make? And 2009, how many in terms of I mean, all of it.
When you get to rescue, that is road traffic from our records. In 2018, we had about 111 rescue missions that we went, and this RTC doesn't. It's not all the time we are involved. When there's road collision, we are only involved when there's people trapped in it. So the figures I am giving you are those
So
fire
these are situations where human beings were
were
trapped.
trapped, and
111 in 2008.
yes, in 2018, and we recorded a number of deaths. I can't give you offline. And also in 2019, we had about 108, and we had about 583 injuries. Amongst those we rescued, 583 were injured, and about 38 passed on.
When you are cutting, I mean, what do you take into considering a human being trapped, like the red car, for instance? I understand and I reckon that you will do a lot of work with that red car because, I mean, the middle was hit vociferously by the white car.
Exactly. Like I told you, that is our work and that is our profession. The bottom line of every fireman is to save lives and property. So wherever lives are involved, it is our duty. You go all out to make sure that those lives are saved. So when we are doing this thing, this is what is behind us. Even if the person is dead, but it is still your responsibility to bring the person out. As an African, we cherish our people. So even if the person is dead, we still have to bring the person out so that the person can be given a befitting preservation and a barrier. So we still do everything after we remove. Initially, when we get to a scene, those who are still alive are those we concentrate on. We make sure we give you the necessary assistance so that you get to the hospital early and get care. And those our paramedics. We have paramedics amongst us. Those who can, those they can immediately give assistance at the scene. They quickly do that before we will transport them to the incident scene. So after we transport them, then those we think are those we cannot save again. When we start our rescue, nobody is involved with this fire service. So even items and anything that is in it, it is in our possession. It is in our custody. So it is when we finish the rescue, when we finish our work, then those who have passed on or those who died, then we hand them over to Ghana Police Service. Then the items that we have also retrieved from the scene, you take your records on it. Then you hand them over to Ghana Police Service so that later the families can go into identification and collection. Then those who are also injured, we convey them to the hospital. But if you also have ambulance services available, we hand them over to the ambulance service so they give them the first aid as they take them to hospital.
12:25 hours, the midnight. Yeah.
What time did you get there?
We got there at 12:53 hours. Yeah, in the morning.
So you were very close to the action. There have been this narrative. It's been countered by the prosecutors and the other things. Then the earlier narratives were that the driver driving the bus, the red bus, was trying to overtake another vehicle, but the driver on his hospital bed said there was a broken down truck that had its light on, so he was trying to just veer off, and then in the process there was a head-on collision. And after the accident, indeed, another trailer ran on the victims of the accident. I mean, you were there. Tell me what exactly you experienced.
Yeah, initially I've also heard this kind of information. Actually, when we got there, there wasn't any broken vehicle there, as the driver is claiming. There wasn't any vehicle. But as to the one which ran over the passenger, yeah, we were told. But actually, we didn't meet that truck too. We didn't meet that truck too.
Okay,
But
so you were told that the vehicle.
yeah, ran over. Yeah.
But okay, so there were two trucks that the police referred to in this instance. That a Ford, I mean, ran on some two people and then picked those people and then sent them to Accra. To Accra, they said that they were sending them to the University of Cape Coast hospital, but they ended up sending the person to Kolebu. Was it that truck you're referring to, or there was another trailer that ran on a lot of them?
No, I
Because
think that's the actual truck. Yeah.
then it's a truck.
Yeah. But as the driver was claiming that he wasn't overtaken, it's true he was overtaken because from my own view as a rescue officer, we got to know that we have a series of impacts that we normally encounter. So from what happened over there, you could see that it was a T-bone. We have what we call T-bone, which is the side impact, a T-bone impact. It wasn't a head-on collision. We've been hearing this head-on collision, but actually it wasn't a head-on collision incident which occurred. It was a T-bone or a side impact incident which happened there.
Oh, okay. So, in taking the people, cutting open, and then retrieving them, how do you feel? Because you've been embarking on these kind of rescue missions.
To me, I would say it's part of the job that we've taken to do. So I see it to be a normal thing, even though it's a difficult job to do, because looking at what happened over there, it was very bad, terrible. But since I'm in the system, um, I've taken it upon myself. That's the job I've taken to do. So I see it to be a normal thing. Even
Cutting open, you see the mutilated body parts of people, someone's arm, others. I mean, it could have been you.
it takes the bravest guys to do such a job. Because even some of our counterparts from the other sister services who were there, they were just watching, and in fact, it was something. It was something for them. But for us, that is what we've decided to do. So, see it to be normal.
Thank you very much, sir. Your name?
Assistant Station Officer Blankson.
We want to sympathize with the bereaved family and then to also wish we want to sympathize with the bereaved family and also wish the injured still on admission a speedy recovery. I also want to take this opportunity to say a very big thank you for my men for the quick response they gave to the incidents. They did a very good work, lifting up the dead, lifting up the equipment, holding it for a continuous period of 8 hours and above, cutting where there are serious crimes to get access to those trapped and rescuing them and putting them into a car for onwards submission to the hospital was great. They did a very good work. I'm very grateful to them, and I will ask that they continue to deliver as they did the last time.
In terms of the work they put in, and then in the rescue mission and all of that, and then seeing that even after all that effort, we still lost 34 precious lives on that road. How did it hit you as the person who led this team, or your men led this team, and we had 56 people injured, some in critical condition, still in the hospital, even though others have been treated in this chat.
Yeah, it was sad. It was sad, but it was such that we only needed to do our best, and that is how best we could have done to save those that could be saved, and at least those that we could not save, there was nothing extra we could have done to actually save them. It's a pity. We wish we could have gone beyond ourselves to do more rescue than what we did and even save them alive. But, well, it's pathetic and we should have it this way. My men, too, I sympathize with them. After the incident, they came in full of blood all over. Some of them, they saw cuts, they saw intestines out, saw livers out, and they came very traumatized. We had to speak to them. We need to revive them, motivate them, encourage to get back to themselves and keep going. We are still working on them. In fact, we wish this day will never happen in the region in particular and in any part of the country as a whole. Thank you. I'm DO1 John Amalai Amati.